Hello children. Last time we were studying about the covalent bond, how different compounds were formed by sharing. Well, in order to continue, let's take one more example and then we'll proceed further. Let's see how the water molecule is formed. Water molecule, everybody knows it is H2O. Oxygen is the central atom which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 electrons in the valence shell. It shares one of its electrons with one hydrogen, another electron with another hydrogen, and the hydrogen complete the duplet. Oxygen already had 6 electrons, takes 2 more from hydrogen atoms and completes the octet. So this is how a covalent bond between 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom is formed, and a few electrons remain unshared. So this is how a water molecule is formed. All of them have an equal electronegativity. There is no charge separation. It is a neutral molecule. Now, what are the factors which lead to the formation of covalent compounds? The first factor is ionization potential. If the ionization potential will be high, that means a lot of energy will be required to remove an electron. Then it will rather indulge in sharing of electrons rather than losing electrons. And similarly, if the electron affinity of both the combining atoms is high, that means both of them are willing to accept electrons, none of them is willing to lose electrons, even then it leads to the formation of a covalent bond. And similarly, electronegativity of both the combining atoms, if it is high, then also it will lead to the formation of covalent bond, because both the atoms will pull the electrons towards themselves. None of them will give it, but both of them will be equally willing to accept it. And then the electronegativity difference. Electronegativity difference. I explained you this last time also. Difference means if there are two combining atoms A and B, the electronegativity of atom A and electronegativity of atom B is almost the same. If the electronegativity difference between them is negligible, okay, difference is negligible, very less or very low, this will also lead to the formation of a covalent bond. So these are the factors which lead to the formation of covalent bond. Alright, now once the covalent compounds are formed, what are their properties? The properties of covalent compounds: 1. Their state. What is the state of covalent compounds? First of all, they are either gaseous or liquids, or even some of them, if they exist in the solid state, they are very soft solids. Very soft solids. Second is they are volatile in nature. That means they evaporate very quickly. If they evaporate very quickly means they have a very low boiling point and low melting point. Their conductivity is very poor. Poor conductivity, it may be the conductivity of heat or it may be the conductivity of electricity. Both ways these compounds are poor conductors of heat and electricity. And then they cannot show electrolysis because there is no charge separation in them. The ions will not be separated. They cannot move towards the respective electrodes. Their solubility is nil in water. They do not get dissolved in water, but they can dissolve in organic solvents. Organic solvents like benzene, like toluene, like kerosene, any CCl4, any of these. So their solubility is almost absent. Then their reactions are very slow speed. slow speed reactions, and they are also molecular reactions. Okay, and then we have they hardly undergo, only the ionization will be shown only by polar covalent compounds. The non-polar covalent compounds will not even show ionization. So these are some of the properties of the covalent compounds. Now today we are going to study about a very interesting type of a bond, which is known as a coordinate bond. Coordinate bond, which is also known as dative bond. It is also called dative bond. Now this is also a special kind of a covalent bond. Now in the covalent bond, you have already seen that the sharing of electrons takes place. The combining atoms, both of them contribute in sharing of whatever number of electrons, 1, 2 or 3, and that is how a strong bond is formed between them. A coordinate bond is a special kind of a covalent bond where the sharing takes place only from one side, the other atom does not contribute anything. We'll take an example. It will generally be, we will begin with the polar covalent compound. Let's talk about, say, water. When you're talking about the formation of water, oxygen is the central atom. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 electrons in the valence shell. It combines one with one hydrogen, another with another hydrogen. Both the hydrogens become stable, and oxygen also in turns acquires stability, completes the octet, and that is how a water molecule is formed. Now you will notice that after the complete formation of water, there are two pairs of electrons, these, which are not sharing their electrons with any other atom. Now they don't need to share it, but these electrons which are not associated with any other atom, they are known as lone pair of electrons. These are known as lone pair of electrons. So in a water molecule, there are two lone pair of electrons. It is very important, children. Board people can ask you to draw the structure of water molecule and label the lone pair of electrons. So you are going to encircle it like this and then label it as lone pair of electrons. Now when I'm just telling you that there are two lone pair of electrons present in a water molecule. Now in such a case, near this water molecule, suppose a proton approaches this water molecule. A proton is a charged hydrogen atom. Why it is a charged hydrogen atom? As I told you, it has a very low electronegativity. The only electron it has, suppose that also shifts to the other atom. What is left behind is a hydrogen atom with no electron. This is also known as a proton. Okay, or a hydrogen ion. Hydrogen ion, because the only electron it had, that has been lost, that has gone somewhere with another atom. So this one has no electron at all. So if this hydrogen approaches the water molecule allows a pair of its lone pair to be used by hydrogen ion without taking any electron from hydrogen ion in return. Hydrogen actually doesn't even have any electron to share with water molecule. But water molecule, without letting these electrons go away from its outermost shell, allows these two electrons to be used by this hydrogen ion also without taking anything in return. So there forms a special kind of a bond which is known as a coordinate bond. Here a coordinate bond is formed between water molecule and hydrogen ion. Now you will represent this bond with the help of an arrow. The arrow will be pointing towards the acceptor. So who is the acceptor over here? Hydrogen ion. And the entire water molecule is the donor. Water molecule is a donor, hydrogen ion is an acceptor. When this hydrogen ion gets associated with water, then it becomes H3O and this charge which is present over the hydrogen ion is distributed over the entire molecule, and you write it as a positive charge like this. This becomes hydronium ion. This becomes a hydronium ion, H3O. Initially it was H2O, which was the water molecule, but when hydrogen ion associated with it, it forms H3O, and the charge present over the hydrogen is taken over the entire molecule, and this is how a charged particle is formed. So this is how. Now already by sharing, using one of its pair of electrons with hydrogen ion, it has acquired instability. So the other lone pair of electrons is not shared with any other thing. This continues to remain like this. Either water is formed or hydronium. The second lone pair of electrons is not shared with anything. We will take one more example, or ammonium ion. Now first let's see the formation of ammonia. Nitrogen is the central atom. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 electrons in the valence shell. Shares 3 of its electrons with hydrogen. All the 3 hydrogens become stable by completing their duplet. And nitrogen also already had 5 electrons. Now it has 3 more. So this one also completes the octet and becomes stable. So the molecule exists as ammonia molecule. Ammonia molecule is neutral in the sense it does not carry any charge. It is quite capable of independent existence. Now this one also has a lone pair of electrons. This is lone pair. We are calling it lone pair because it is not bonded to any other atom. Lone pair of electrons. Similarly, if a proton happens to be close by, then the entire ammonia molecule allows this hydrogen ion to use this pair of electrons and become stable without taking any electron from hydrogen ion in return. Hydrogen ion is an ion because the only electron it had has been given to someone else. So with the result, this one has only one proton. So it is also called a proton. So you will show likewise the coordinate bond between ammonia molecule and this hydrogen ion, and it will be rather than 3, now the 4th hydrogen is also associated with nitrogen, and the charge of that hydrogen ion is taken up by the entire molecule and it forms ammonium ion. This one is called ammonium ion. So if you are asked what makes ammonium ion positively charged, you will say the lone pair effect. It is because of the presence of lone pair of electrons that it has shared its electron with hydrogen ion, and thus the entire molecule has acquired a charge. So the formation of hydronium ion and ammonium ion is extremely important. I would advise you all to keep the book open and keep the video on and understand it properly. If you have a doubt, you can ask me in the class tomorrow. And this is how the unstable or the charged ions like hydronium and ammonium ions are formed. Either of the two is definitely going to be in the board exam. So practice drawing it, label the lone pair of electrons, understand the concept clearly, and wherever there is a problem, you can ask me once again. That should be all for today, children. Alright, goodbye for the day. God